The question of God's role in choosing a national president is a complex one, with different perspectives across various theological and political traditions. While some beliefs hold that God directly and sovereignly appoints all leaders, others emphasize the role of human free will and democratic processes. Many theological traditions, particularly within Christianity, hold that God's sovereignty extends to the appointment of all governing authorities. This viewpoint is often rooted in biblical passages like Romans 13:1, which states, "Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God." This suggests that regardless of how a leader comes to power, whether through a democratic election, a revolution, or even a tyrannical takeover, their position is ultimately permitted or ordained by a higher divine will. This doesn't necessarily mean that God endorses or approves of every leader's actions. Instead, it suggests that God uses all leaders, both good and bad, to fulfill a larger purpose, which may include bringing about justice, testing a nation, or even bringing judgment. The idea is that God is ultimately in control, and nothing happens outside of his ultimate plan. In contrast to a purely deterministic view of divine appointment, many also believe that God works through human agency and democratic processes. In this perspective, God doesn't pre-select a single candidate and force their election. Instead, God gives people the freedom to choose their leaders, and the outcome of an election is a reflection of the collective will of the people. This view emphasizes the importance of civic responsibility, encouraging citizens to pray for their nation and its leaders, and to vote for candidates who they believe will best serve the common good. In this model, God's role is not to dictate the outcome, but to guide and influence the hearts and minds of the people as they make their decisions. The focus shifts from a passive reception of a divinely appointed leader to an active, prayerful, and responsible participation in the political process. Separation of church and state. In nations with a principle of separation of church and state, like the United States, the official role of God in political elections is explicitly minimized. This legal and philosophical concept, famously articulated by Thomas Jefferson, ensures that the government does not establish or endorse a particular religion, and that religious institutions do not exert direct control over government affairs. While this doesn't prevent individuals from voting based on their religious beliefs, it means that the government itself operates on secular principles, and the process of electing a president is understood as a purely human, democratic one, not a divine one. For citizens in these countries, the question of God's role becomes a matter of personal faith and conviction rather than a constitutional principle. People may believe that God influences the outcome of the election through the actions and choices of the voters, but the political system itself is designed to be independent of religious authority. It is all about Jesus. Glory be to God.